Hello students, today I start the poem A Thing of Beauty, which is in your Flamingo book. Now this poem A Thing of Beauty is written by John Keats. So this beautiful poem A Thing of Beauty is written by John Keats. Now in the chapter, that is the poem which is mentioned in your book, there is this introductory part about John Keats. So students, please go through this part very nicely. You may be asked questions from this part also. So this poem is on page number 98. So here about the poet as it is written that John Keats was 1795 to 1821, was a British romantic poet, and although trained to be a surgeon, Keats decided to devote himself wholly to poetry. So he is one of the romantic poets in the time of the Industrial Revolution which happened in England. So here I hope you have earlier also told you that the romantic poets were wrote in the time when England was going through the Industrial Revolution, and they were so much frustrated with the city life, with the happenings of industrialization in the country, that they all moved towards the countryside. So along with John Keats, Wordsworth, Byron, Shelley, Coleridge, they are also the romantic poets. So here John Keats was a surgeon, but he wrote fully on many poetries he has written. Keats' secret, his power to sway and delight the readers, lies primarily in his gift for perceiving the world and living his moods and aspirations in terms of language. So what is his secret? That is his power to sway his and delight the readers with his beautiful expression in his poems. They are a kind of a gift to the world. And the following is an excerpt from his poem Endymion, a poetic romance. Now children, this poem is an excerpt, that is, this is taken from, this is a part of the famous poem Endymion. Full name is Endymion, the poetic romance. Okay, so here you see, we proceed. So the poem is based on a Greek legend, means a Greek story, in which Endymion, who was a beautiful shepherd. I hope you know who is a shepherd. A shepherd is a person who looks after the sheep. And Endymion lived on Mount Latmus. So he had a vision of the beautiful moon goddess Cynthia. So he thought of finding her out. He resolved to seek her, to find her. And he wandered, that is, he traveled all through the forest and down under the sea. So this poem is just an excerpt of this longer poem, Endymion, a poetic romance. So here you see A Thing of Beauty. What is actually the theme? The very opening line, the very first line, A Thing of Beauty, is very meaningful and it draws the attention of the readers. A thing of beauty is a joy forever. So here it openly recites, this is actually the theme of the poem, that what is it? A thing of beauty, a very beautiful thing, is always gives eternal joy. It always, forever, it is giving joy, it's giving happiness. Any beautiful object is always what? It is very much treasured in our mind because it provides us that everlasting joy, that eternal joy. The happiness that anything beautiful provides never fades into nothingness but multiplies manifold whenever it returns to our mind. That is, it never fades into nothingness, that is, never ends, but what it happens, it multiplies, it increases many times, and it is always in our mind. Now students, you have always found a beautiful sunrise. You go to early morning, you are in a beach or in a mountainous region, or just when you open the window of your room in the early morning, what you see? A beautiful sunrise. So what is the beautiful sunrise? That is a thing of beauty which gives always a joy to your mind. Now this is on page number 98. You see the poem as it starts. A thing of beauty is a joy forever. Its loveliness increases. It will never pass into nothingness. Now, when you are reading this poem, you will see that every line is not completing in the same sentence. This goes on in the next sentence, you see. This just goes on in the next sentence. So what is this? This is called when a sentence doesn't complete in a line and it runs into the next line, then this is called an enjambment. All right. This is an enjambment. So its loveliness increases. It will never pass into. Now see, every line, the sentence should have started from here. It should have ended here in the very first line. But it did not end, but it is running in the next line. Now here it will never pass into nothingness. Again, this sentence is coming into the third line. So why is actually the poet creating such a poetic device, enjambment, to rhyme the lines? Now what is the rhyme scheme? Rhyme scheme of the poem, you see, that is forever, never. This is written in couplet. A, B, B, keep, sleep, breathing, C, C. So what is it? How is it rhyming? It is rhyming in couplets. A, B, B. So in this way, it goes on rhyming. So what two devices you learned, children? That first is the enjambment and the second is the rhyming scheme here. So a thing, now you see the poem, how it reads. A thing of beauty is a joy forever. Its loveliness increases. It will never pass into nothingness, but will keep a bower quite for us, and a sleep full of sweet dreams and health and quiet breathing. Now here again you see it's rhyming, quiet breathing, and therefore here you see you can take it CC also. So this is rhyming couplets, A, B, B, C, C, like this it goes on. So the rhyming scheme is general. What do we say? We say it is A, B, B. Again, you can take this as A also, A, B, B, like this it continues. So here you see in these lines, a thing of beauty is a joy forever. Its loveliness increases. That is, any beautiful thing is what? It is a joy which gives happiness forever. Its loveliness increases. That is, it is a kind of a perennial joy. It continues. It goes on increasing its loveliness. It will never pass into nothingness. So a thing of beauty will never end. It will never pass into nothingness, but will keep a bower quiet for us. But this thing of beauty, now what thing of beauty? The natural beauty, the sunrise, the sunset, the rivers, the flowers, the mountains, the beautiful trees, grass, everything. They are just like a kind of a bower. That is a shady place which is quiet for us, which gives us quietness, which gives us peace, which gives us silence, and it also gives us a sleep under that beautiful things of nature, a person can sleep. It gives a beautiful quietness under which a person can sleep and have sweet dreams. Here you see, and have sweet dreams, and of course, he will have health and quiet breathing. And what is a quiet breathing? A peaceful sleep, a, a, a place where he can have a very healthy life. Therefore, on every morrow are we reading. So the poet says, therefore, on every morrow. Morrow means what? Early morning. What are we doing? We are reading. Reading means what? What is the meaning of actually reading? Reading means encircling. Alright? Reading means what? In Hindi you say bandhna. You encircle. What are you doing? Every morrow are we reading. What are we reading? Now here you see just the explanation as the poem is of the lines which I read. The poem begins with the famous line, "A thing of beauty is a joy forever," meaning that a beautiful thing always gives joy to humans. It will never pass into nothingness. That is the never pass into nothingness. That is, its beauty will never finish, never die. Instead, what happens? Its loveliness grows, it increases, it goes on giving us happiness. It grows every time. The poet says that beauty stays forever, it never fades away. Rather, it increases with the passing time, and the perception of the poet regarding beauty, that is, regarding what? Regarding beauty, is that it never goes off with the passing time. Rather, it beautifies more and more. Its beauty increases with every single day. It increases its beauty. That is, nature is eternal. Nature is ever living, it is everlasting, and it gives a perennial joy to every human being on this earth. For the poet, beauty is like a beautiful shady tree. It's like a quiet bower. What is that? Beautiful shady tree under whose shade all the creatures can sleep peacefully and enjoy good health. So here the literary devices, as I told you, the rhyme scheme is A, A, B, B. Now there is the use of alliteration. 1 minute. Now here you see. This is A. There is the use of enjambment I have written. Then there is the use of alliteration. Where is the alliteration you see? On every we reading. All right, here this is an alliteration. All right, this is an alliteration. Now what is an alliteration? Alliteration is the repetition of the consonant sounds in the neighboring words. Now we reading W. Now how many consonants are there? I hope students you all know there are 21 consonants and 5 vowels. So when the consonants are repeated in the neighboring words, that is called an alliteration. Okay, now here a bower quiet for us. Now this bower, this is also a poetic device which means it is a metaphor. Now a bower quiet for us here, the metaphor is actually it is the beautiful thing. The thing of beauty is compared to a quiet bower, that is to a shady tree which is providing us a calmness of the bower, the quietness, the calming effect. That is, what is the bower quiet? Therefore, it's a comparison to a beautiful thing. Now, what is metaphor? I hope you students you remember that it is the metaphor is the comparison between indirect objects, when it is comparison is made between two dissimilar things, but it has some similarity. Now this Bower quiet is of course a very calmness, provides calmness, which is compared to the beautiful things. Now alliteration, we did sleep, sweet, as well as we reading, isn't it? We reading is also an alliteration. Sleep and sweet is also an alliteration. Next. Now the word meanings, please learn students very nicely. This can come in your questions also, as well as this is also increases your vocabulary, which you can use in your reading comprehension also. So bower is a shady place under the tree. Morrow means the next day, the following day. Reading means what? Surround, encircle. All right. Despondence means depressed. Okay. Now, what is the meaning of despondence? Depressed, sadness, depression. Gloomy is also sad. Boon is a blessing. Rills means a small stream. That is called a rills. Break is a process to slow down, or you can also have this meaning as the plants which grow in the plants which grow wildly in the forest area. That is also a break. A flowery band to bind us to the earth. What is it? The previous sentence, it's continuing with the previous, from the previous sentence, that is, therefore on every morrow are we reading what? A flowery band. What we are reading? We are reading a flowery band to bind us to the earth. So we are reading means we are knitting, we are making a wreath of the flowery band which binds us to the earth. Now this flowery band is actually, you see, the beautiful objects of nature. All these beautiful objects, beautiful things of nature. All right. So what it says, that every morrow, that is therefore on every morrow, what are we doing? That is, on every next day, what we are doing, we are reading, we are just making the beautiful things, we are just binding the beautiful things which is binding us to the earth, which is tying us to the earth, which is connecting us to the earth. What is that flowery band? The beautiful sunrise, the beautiful trees, flowers, rills, rivers, mountains, all these. So early morrow, the next day, what we are doing? We are making a beautiful wreath, a flowery band, which of the beautiful things of nature, which is connecting us to the earth. Spite of despondence. Now this is always there. The beautiful thing of things of nature is always there. Spite of despondence. What is despondence? That is depression, sadness, of the inhuman, of the inhuman. So what is, why there is despondence? Why there is hopelessness? Because of the inhumanity on the earth. Dearth of noble natures. Dearth means what? Now this word dearth actually means the scarcity. Alright, what is there? There is scarcity of noble nature, of noble people, of good people. There's scarcity of noble natures. And what all they bring? They all bring this hopelessness, scarcity of noble nature, inhumanity is only bringing gloomy days, that is sad days. And those sad days are filled with all unhealthy and over darkened ways. Now, unhealthy and over darkened ways are what? The evils. All right. This is the vices or the evils, you can say. I hope you understand the word vices. Vices means the evils. What is the opposite of vices? Virtue. Virtue is goodness and vices are the evil things, the bad things. So all these over darkened ways, that is all humanity, selfishness, um, destroying nature, all these unhealthy habits of human beings are what are? They are all over darkened ways. They are the vices that dominate human beings. Made for a searching. Now here you see, made for a searching means what? Which all these are made to acquire more and more. To acquire more and more materialistic things. All right. Yes, in spite of. Now all these you are understanding, made for us searching, all these over darkened ways, unhealthy habits, the noble natures, or dearth of noble nature, inhumanity, hopelessness, they are all bringing gloomy days. Yes, in spite of all. That is the, now you see how the enjambments are working. Yes, in spite of all. That is, despite all these negativity, despite all these negativities, what is happening? That is, there is the beauty of nature. There are beautiful things which removes all these pall, which removes all these sadness and bring beauty to the life of human beings. So in the next stanza, that is the second stanza, you see, the poet says that as the thing of beauty is fundamentally important to us, every morning what happens? Every morning we collect the flower like charm of the beautiful things. What are we doing? Every morning we are collecting, we are reading the flower like charm of the beautiful things of nature and make a band of it, that is, make a beautiful wreath of it, band of it, that gives us joy. All right, that gives us joy. The poet says that every day it is the beauty which fills us with the spirit to live. Every day the new morning comes, what happens? We get so much inspiration from nature. After every dark night you will see there is a beautiful morning, the sun rises. So what is all these beautiful things are giving us? They are giving us the spirit to live. Such a beautiful poem, such romantic poets like John Keats and Wordsworth, they only write about this beautiful nature, that how the nature is an inspiration for us. It is beauty which builds the desire in us to live through the sad moments, to the despondence, to the dearth of noble nature, to the inhumanity, through the all the gloomy days. These beautiful things of nature is only inspiring us, is only building the desire in us to live through, though they are live through our life. And there are unhappy moments in our life, but we lack nature in the inhuman materialistic life. So what happens? We have this inhuman materialistic life means what? What is materialistic life? To acquire and more and more and more. This is the nature of human. In that what happens? The beautiful things of nature intercede and we again are filled with calmness, with solace, with inspiration, with desire to live on this earth. We have to face all the unhealthy ways, griefs and even failures, but the beautiful things of nature always boosts us. But in spite of all these gloomy things, so what is the poet reminding us? That in spite of all these gloomy things. A thing of beauty takes away all these troubles and gives us what? Gives us joy and peace. So here the poet wants to say that without the beauty, the earth will be full of what? Without the beauty of the earth will be full of cruel people, sad and gloomy moments. It is the beauty which is created by God helps us to remove the sadness from our hearts. So it is the beauty which is created by God is helping us to remove the sadness from our hearts. So students, I hope you all are following this. If you don't understand, students, please write in the comment box. I will further explain you. So here the literary devices we are finding is anaphora is there. Now what is anaphora? Use of the same word in two consecutive lines. For example, of noble nature, of all unhealthy. Now here you see. Now here you see. You will find here. So here, of noble nature. Now these two words you see, two consecutive lines, when it starts with the same word, this is called an anaphora. Okay. We also have found the examples of anaphora in the poem. I hope you remember, students. Keeping quiet, and in the poem An Elementary School Classroom in the Slum. Both the poems had anaphora. Here also there is the example of anaphora. Now, of course, there is the alliteration also here used. See here, band to bind. This is alliteration. This is an alliteration. The consonant sounds coming up. Here is the alliteration. So, use of consonant sounds at the start of two words which are close in series. B in band bind, N in noble nature. Alright. S in some shape. So, all these are alliterations. Now, there is the use of metaphor also. Now, the use of metaphor is a reading a flowery band. Now, what is actually this compared? A flowery band actually is referring to the beautiful things of our life which bind us to the earth. The beautiful things of our life which is connecting us to the earth. Understood? Now here you see. Now here you will see the noble nature. This is an alliteration, use of alliteration. Then of course the flowery band is a metaphor which means the beautiful things of nature. This is, what is it? This is a metaphor. All right, comparing to the beautiful things of nature. Next, here you see, students, in the first stanza, the poet declares that the thing of beauty continues, energizes, restores and relaxes our worn nerves. Next, you see, this is just now the third stanza you see from here. Such the moon, trees old and young, sprouting a shady. One minute. Here you see. Made for some shape of beauty. Yes, in spite of all, till here we had done. Yeah, before this is some shape of beauty. Now one line is left here. Some shape of beauty some shape of beauty moves away the pall. Moves away the pall. Alright, and then from our dark spirits. From our dark spirits. After that, this line comes, okay? After that, this line comes. Alright. So, some shape of beauty moves away there. Now, what happens? There is despondency, there is inhumanity, there is the dearth of noble nature, which all are bringing gloomy days. Now, at this time, what happens? And people are what? They are making, search. They are searching, means they are running after all the material things. So, all these things are just removed, just erased by some shape of beauty which moves away the pall. That is, moves. What is a pall? That is, moves away the pall means moves away the sadness from our dark spirits. So, moves away the pall, the sadness. This is sadness. Alright, from our dark spirits, such the moon. Now, what are the shapes of beauty? The beautiful things of nature, the poet has mentioned: the sun, the moon, the trees old and young, sprouting a shady moon. That is, the sun, the moon, the trees which are old as well as young trees, they are sprouting. That is, they are giving us a shady moon. Shady moon means a shady, peaceful blessing. Moon is a blessing. Right. For simple sheep. Now all these trees, old and young, which are giving a kind of blessings, where under which trees the simple sheep, they are grazing, they are lying down, and such are daffodils. Now you see, and such are daffodils with the green world they live in. That is, what other beautiful things are there? The daffodils. Now this is a daffodil. These are the daffodils flowers. They are among the green world. They are growing in the green world they live in. And what another beautiful thing the poet has mentioned, the clear rills, that is the clear streams, which are gurgling and moving in a great speed. And we human beings derive a great charm from all these beautiful streams, that for themselves a cooling covert make. Now these beautiful streams, all right, these rills are what? These rills are streams. All right, now these beautiful clear streams, they are giving what? They are giving a cooling covert. That is, they are giving a cooling cover, cooling place, which are in the make against. Now this is an old English. What is the meaning of this word? Against. Now these these clear rills are just like cooling coverts in the hot season. That is, they are a great relief. They are a great covert. They are a great recluse, retreat, you can say, or recluse. That is, they are in the hot season. They are a great respite. The mild forest brake. Now the mid forest brake. What beautiful other beautiful things are there? That is the forest area which are full of wild plants. Brake means wild plants. Wild plants grow in the forest. Now you see, so many beautiful things of nature the poet has mentioned. So in the third stanza, the poet gives examples of things of beauty that give us joy and happiness. Examples which include what? The sun, the moon, the trees which are old and young, that grows up and gives peaceful shade to our spirits, that is, to the innocent sheep, daffodils, and the daffodils that make the earth green. All these plants make beautiful earth green nature. Pure and cold streams, all these are the beautiful things the poet has mentioned. The sun, the moon, the trees, flowers and the rivers are like a blessing bestowed means given to all the creatures by earth. He further describes that the trees provide us with their shade, flowers with their beauty, and the rivers, what are they giving? They are giving coolness during the hot summers. All these are the beauties of nature which are like a boon for us. Now, the last stanza, children, this is all the beautiful description of nature only, rich with a sprinkling of fair musk rose blooms. Now, this is a continuation of the previous line. That is, the previous line is what? The mid forest break. That is, in the forest, among the wild trees, wild plants, what grows? The beautiful small flowers, roses grow. They are blooming, they are growing. The musk rose, these are the musk rose, the small roses, they are growing in wilderness. And such too is the grandeur of the dooms. And the poet is also mentioning that such too is the grandeur. What is the meaning of grandeur? Impressiveness. All right? The splendidness, the impressiveness of the dooms, that is, of the war, destruction. We have imagined for the mighty dead. Now, all these are giving what? Beautiful memories, all the beautiful things of nature, the musk rose, and all these, and the impressiveness of the destructions which are faced by the mighty dead, that is, the brave soldiers. Mighty means what? Brave. Brave soldiers who have died, who are the martyrs, they died for the country. They are all giving us a joy. We think of them, we get inspired by them, by the tales we read about these mighty dead. All lovely tales. Tales means stories that we have heard or read about all these mighty dead. What are they giving? They are giving us inspiration. They are giving us inspiration. They are giving us a desire to live. That how they have preserved this earth. An endless fountain of immortal drink. So what is it? It is an endless fountain of immortal drink. Immortal drink means a drink which never finishes. Everlasting drink. A nectar, you can say, which is never finishing. Now, what is this? That endless fountain of immortal drink. What is the immortal drink? This is a use of metaphor. What is the immortal drink? That is the comparison is made with the immortal drink, that is the beauties of nature. Beauty of nature. Pouring unto us from the heavens bring. So what? These beautiful things, the endless fountain, the eternal beauty of nature, they are coming to us from the heaven which we are enjoying. Now here you see the explanation as I've given. The beautiful musk roses which have such a nice fragrance. Then he describes the tales of the mighty warriors who laid their lives for their countries or for humanity. He says that these beautiful things are the gifts of God. Gifts from God to all of us. They are just kind of a nectar. That is an immortal drink given by, they are kind of a nectar given by God to us. And these are those beauties which are immortal, everlasting, which give us reason to live on this earth despite having so many sorrows in our life. So I hope, children, you have understood the poem. Finally, the poet refers to the beauty of the grandeur, that is the magnificent, the impressive memory of the mighty dead, the martyrs who sacrificed their lives. There is the joy of the lovely tales that we have heard or read, and which we have heard or read, which we hear about them. The nature is what? It is a kind of an endless fountain of immortal drink which it pours onto us from the heaven. The line means that the nature gives us immortal, that is everlasting joy that comes from heaven, and hence it is the ultimate source of happiness. Now here the literary devices you see, there is the use of alliteration, that is use of consonant sounds at the start of two words which are close in series. For example, S in sprouting shady, alright, simple sheep, C in cooling covert. Now there is an imagery here. Imagery means what? Where you can picturize. For example, the clear rills, you with the clear rills, what you can picturize, you can form an image that clear river streams. Or here you see trees giving shade, sprouting shady, boon. That is, what are the trees giving? They are a kind of a blessing to us, which is giving sprouting, which is giving us, giving us shade. Growing process of daffodils, daffodils with the green world they live in. All these are the imagery. That means it is giving us an impact on our senses. That is, we can visualize it. Now there is the antithesis here, that is the opposite words placed together, old and young, is antithesis. Bower quiet, we have done earlier also. This is a metaphor, refers to the quiet shady part of the garden. Sweet dreams means happy dreams. Reading a flowery band means connecting to nature. Pall means a covering like a shroud, that is gloominess, sadness, all these. Now here more uses of alliteration. You can see that we have the example of alliteration here, H in have heard, alright. Metaphor, immortal drinks is a metaphor, as I explained you before only, that in the previous slide only, that what are the immortal drinks? That immortal drinks are actually compared to the beautiful objects of nature which are forever, or like never ending portion of a drink. Now there is the use of imagery, that is bushes of full musk roses, the beautiful roses, musk roses, sprinkling of fair musk rose blooms, books describing valor of fighters, that is the grandeur of the mighty dead. All these are what giving us images, giving us some kind of picture. God providing us with best things, that is providing, pouring from the heavens spring. Now there is also an use of inversion. Inversion means when there is the subject verb is reversed. It's unlike a normal sentence. In a normal sentence, what? The subject comes in the beginning, then the verb comes. So in a sentence, when there is the normal order of words is reversed, that is called an inversion. For example, are we reading a flower? Are we reading? We is here the subject, reading a flowery band. So these are the, I hope you have understood. Now in the sample question paper, I was just reading it. You see, this question is mentioned that how does Keats' poem, A Thing of a Beauty, appeal richly to the senses, stimulating the reader's inner sight as well as the sense of touch and smell. Now all these examples I have given in the literary devices. Now how it is appealing richly to the senses. What is the examples of the imagery? That those are actually appeal to the senses. That is our five senses it appeals to. And it gives an inner sight as well as a sense of touch and smell. What is it? These are the senses, touch and smell. That is, what are these? The example of the flowery band, the example of musk rose, the example of trees old and young, the example of daffodils, clear rills. So you have to arrange your answer explaining the poem with emphasis on all these imagery in 120 to 150 words. So in your second term, students, these type of questions you will get, which is in your sample question paper, and please write them as I have mentioned. So here I sign off today from the class, and you please subscribe and share and like so that you get the notification of my next class.